very warm welcome, each one of you. Thank you, Vikas and Anshika, for joining in. And we are reading this amazing book, The Courage to Be Disliked. Today, we are going to talk about trauma does not exist. Do you think trauma exists? What is your take on that, Vikas and Anshika?
For me, yes, trauma exists. That's how we learn and experience. Trauma is limiting. That is not my belief. Like,
Mm,
I personally feel we all, like, anytime when any behavior happens, like, for example, I touch a hot pan as a kid. So
mhm.
that was a trauma for my brain. But now I know hot pan is dangerous for me. So I'm not supposed to touch it that way. So it's a good way. Like, trauma is leading me for my safety and survival. So it's a good in some sense, but if we hold on to it and like live our life just because that happened, that is limiting, and that what I feel like we should have a clear choice of not making it.
All right. And Vikas?
Yes, trauma basically often people associate it with an event, but actually it is not an event, but how we process it in our mind,
Mm,
the negative meaning that we attach, and we recreate the stories again and again. It becomes so often a kind of repetition that it leads to trauma.
hmm.
Basically, uh, the event may be big,
Hmm.
but if you do not play a story and make it bigger, then
Hmm.
it will not lead to trauma,
Hmm.
right? Event, so we basically link it with the event, but not it is not the event, but how you process the event that leads to trauma. So actually the trauma does not exist.
Okay. Let's see what does the author say. मुझे पता ही नहीं है ट्रॉमा एग्जिस्ट करता है या नहीं करता बट येस आई अग्री विद बोथ ऑफ यू इन द सेंस कि हाँ अगर किसी चीज को गर्म को टच किया होगा तो हाँ आई विल हैव दैट इम्पैक्ट दैट इम्प्रेशन इन माई माइंड
Hmm.
हैविंग सेड दैट अगर मैं उसी को सोच सोच के बहुत बड़ा बना दूंगी तो शायद ट्रॉमा वुड भी कि मैं कुकिंग ही नहीं करने जाऊंगी कि
Hmm.
यहाँ पे तो गर्म होता है
Hmm.
लेट्स सी व्हाट डज द ऑथर से एनीबॉडी वांट्स टू रीड
इसमें डिस्टॉर्टेड आ रहा है थोड़ा सा, इट्स
ओह
बेटर फॉर
यस
यू टू
हाँ ये भी पीडीएफ आई नीड टू चेंज चलो आई रीड Youth. If you are going to state things so forcibly, I would like a thorough explanation. To begin with, what is the difference you refer to between etiology and teleology? एटियोलॉजी एंड टेलियोलॉजी के बारे में मैंने थोड़ा सा गूगल सर्च किया था एटियोलॉजी इज साइंटिफिक स्टडी ऑफ द कॉज ऑफ द डिजीज एंड टेलियोलॉजी इज द पर्पस इट सर्व्स रादर देन द कॉज बाय विच दे अराइज ठीक है फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे अंशिका ने कहा कि पैन गरम तो उसका कॉज ये था कि हमने गरम शायद गरम को टच किया था एंड पर्पस इज कि आई डोंट नो आई डोंट नो let's see what does he explain philosopher supposing you have got a cold with high fever and you are gone to see the doctor then suppose the doctor says the reason for your sickness is that yesterday when you went out you weren't dressed well enough and that's why you have caught a cold. Now would you be satisfied with that? Youth. Of course I would not. It wouldn't matter to me what the reason was, the way I was dressed, or because it was raining, or whatever. It's the symptom, the fact that I am suffering with high fever now, that would matter to me. If he is a doctor, he would need I would need him to treat me by prescribing medicine, giving shots, or taking whatever specialized measures are necessary. Philosopher. Yet, those who take an antilogical stance, including most counselors and psychiatrists, would argue that what you were suffering from stemmed from such and such cause in the past and would then end up just counseling you by saying, so you see, it's not your fault. The argument concerning so called trauma is a typical of etiology. Youth. Wait a minute. Are you denying the existence of trauma altogether? Philosopher. Yes, I am adamantly. Youth. What? Aren't you, or I guess I should say Adler, an authority on psychology? Philosopher says in Adlerian psychology, trauma is definitely denied. This was a very new and revolutionary point. Certainly, the Freudian view of trauma is fascinating. Freud's idea is that person's psychic wounds, that is traumas, cause his or her present unhappiness. When you treat a person's life as a vast narrative, there is an easily understandable casualty and sense of dramatic development that creates strong impressions and is extremely attractive. But Adler is denial of the trauma argument, states the following. No experience is in itself a cause of our success or failure. We do not suffer from the shock of our experience, the so-called trauma, but instead we make out of them whatever suits our purposes. We are not determined by our experiences, but the meaning we give them is self-determining. That's what Vikas said, right?
Yes.
Anything that you want to add here? Add up till here.
नहीं ठीक है, पढ़ते हैं आगे.
Youth. So we make of them whatever suits our purpose. Very distorted. Philosopher. Exactly. Focus on the point Adler is making here when he refers to the self being determined not by our experiences themselves, but by the meaning we give them. He is not saying that the experience of a horrible calamity or abuse during childhood or other such incidents have no influence on forming a personality. Their influences are strong. But the important thing is that nothing is actually determined by those influences. We determine our own lives according to the meaning we give to those past experiences. Your life is not something that someone gives you, but something you choose yourself, or and you are the one who decides how you live. Youth says, okay, so you are saying that my friend has shut himself in his room because he actually chooses to live in this way? This is serious. Believe me, it is not what he wants. If anything, it's something he was forced to choose because of circumstances. He had no choice other than to become who he is now. Philosopher. No, even supposing that your friend actually thinks he can't fit into society because I was abused by my parents, it's still because it is his goal to think that way. Youth. What sort of goal is that? Philosopher. The immediate thing would probably be the goal of not going out. He is creating anxiety and fear as his reasons to stay inside. Youth. But why doesn't he want to go out? That's where the problem resides. Philosopher. Well, think of it from the parent's view. How would you feel if your child was shut up in a room? Youth. I would be worried, of course. I would want him to I would want to help him return to society. I would want him to be well, and I would wonder if I have raised him improperly. I'm sure I would be seriously concerned and try in every way imaginable to help him back in the normal existence. Philosopher. That is where the problem is. Youth. Where? Philosopher. If I stay in my room all the time without ever going out, my parents will worry. I can get all my parents' attention focused on me. They will be extremely careful around me and always handle me with kids' gloves. On the other hand, if I take even one step out of the house, I will just become part of the faceless mass who no one pays attention to. I will be surrounded by people I don't know and just end up average and less than average. And no one will take special care of me any longer. Such stories about recursive people are not uncommon. Youth. In that case, following your line of reasoning, my friend has accomplished his goal and is satisfied with his current situation. Philosopher. I doubt he's satisfied, and I'm sure he's not happy either. But there is no doubt that he is also taking action in line with his goal. This is not something that is unique to your friend. Every one of us is living in line with some goal. That is what teleology tells us. Youth, no way. I reject that as completely unacceptable. Look, my friend is philosopher. Listen, this discussion won't go anywhere if we just keep talking about your friend. It will return into the trial of absentia, and that would be hopeless. Let's use another example. Youth. Well, how about this one? It's my own story about something I experienced only yesterday. Philosopher. Oh, I'm all ears. That is the end of this part. This reminds me of what Vikas, you spoke about in the morning session today. How whatever we are doing is actually aligning us somehow with our values as well. जब दो values contradicting होंगी तो we won't be able to achieve the exact result that we are aiming to accomplish. That is what I got from here. Please feel free to share yours, Vikas.
Yeah, let Ansika speak. Actually, I lost track. I was not able to make out what sentence you were reading. It was all jumbled up. I was trying to focus on that, but could not get hold of it.
Okay.
So I would prefer to listen to you both.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, the one thing that clicked beautifully is the part where the boy is saying, like, if I step out of my, like, his friend will step out of his house, then his parents will no longer pay attention to him,
Hmm.
right? He will be a common face. So he has a need of having attention from his parent. So that's why he is using his trauma to fulfill his need. So this is I got like trauma. We any experience that we have, we create it as a trauma for us to fulfill our need.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of things happen, same thing happened, like lot of times same thing happened to two people, but one person chooses and one person doesn't chooses to live in a way like limiting way. So he is choosing a dysfunctional way of living just because to fulfill his need of getting attention from his parents. So yeah, and what he need to do is find a functional way to get attention so that he can go out and still he can fulfill his needs. So that's where the trauma I feel is limiting for him.
हाँ मुझे भी ऐसे ही लगा कि there are two desires that he's fulfilling in fact. One desire is to get his attention, parents' attention, and second desire is that he wants to step out of the house. But because this desire is bigger than the other, he's staying inside the house.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I can now correlate with what you are saying now earlier. Huh? Yes, sometimes we prefer the pain, even though it may hurt us, but we prefer to be in pain. At least, if you can remember, even in our childhood, हम लोग बीमार होने का एक्टिंग करते थे कई बार. हाँ, ताकि घर में आके सब लोग मेरे को पूछे क्या कैसे तबीयत है, कैसा ये है वो है ना. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो सबकॉन्शियस में रहता है. और सिंस एज वी ग्रो older, we cannot expressly ask for attention, or somehow we play the victim game. We we make that event as traumatic so that we can gain sympathy and attention, validation. Matlab, somehow that need which Ansika was talking about is not being fulfilled, and in order to get those needs met, we do all this, make it larger than what actually has occurred.
True.
Right.
The next that he talks about is people fabricate anger. That's what this is what I was talking about yesterday कि जब मैं इसके बारे में सोचती हूँ this topic, to me it's like I was telling yesterday in the last session was that मुझे गुस्सा बहुत कम आता है, and I used to feel bad about certain things when I got married, but मेरे को गुस्सा नहीं आता था, and my parents were like, especially my mom, she was like जब गुस्सा आता है it should look, people should be able to gauge it from your face, from your body language, कि कुछ तो ऐसा होना चाहिए शिफ्ट तुम्हारे अंदर कि सामने वाले को समझ में आए कि हाँ तुम्हारे को गुस्सा आ रहा है। तो जब ये फैब्रिकेट एंगर मैंने पढ़ा ना, तो इट्स लाइक हाँ, आई यूज टू फैब्रिकेट एंगर एंड आई डू इट राइट नाउ एज वेल। अभी तक भी मैं करती हूँ कि किसी बात पे गुस्सा नहीं भी आ रहा होगा तो आई विल जस्ट स्टार्ट वॉकिंग दैट वे, एंड माय नीरज ऑलवेज सेज इसको गुस्सा आ गया, अब धड़म धड़म करके चलेगी घर में। तो दैट्स हाउ आई सी फैब्रिकेटिंग एंगर। इफ यू हैव एनी thing on head about fabricated anger, please feel free to share.
We may fabricate an anger, but since we are living the actual feeling at that time, when we are pretending to be angry, but we are not angry actually. But then you will have to go through that emotions in order to feel that anger. So ultimately, whether it is pretended anger, you are pretending to be angry, or whether you are actually angry, it like you are angry at some of the past events which has not occurred right now, right? But you are thinking about that event and getting angry. It's like the same thing.
नहीं, मेरे को ऐसा होता है कि इन माई किड्स ऑल्सो नो कि मम्मी गुस्सा कर रही है, अभी मैं कुछ कहूंगी तो हंस पड़ेगी, एंड इट इज लाइक दैट, बट आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग अ स्ट्रॉन्ग फेस कि I don't like it. This is not how this has to work.
So
And
you are not acting properly.
but let's hear Anshika.
Yeah, as you were saying, like our mind cannot differentiate between reality and imagination. So if you are telling your brain that okay, I have to pretend angry, some part of body, even though you can smile a moment later when your kids are saying something, your body has been making those changes like chemically inside you, and that is where like fabricating emotion, any emotion, like especially negative emotions, is not healthy. And the incident you share, like the I had pretty much same thing when I got married and came here. I was like young, so and all of a sudden I was away from family, like I had just one person to be with for everything. And I for me is like this was the attention. So गुस्सा हो जाऊंगी तो वो मनाने आएगा for that intention for no reason. आज उसने मेरे खाने की तारीफ नहीं की, गुस्सा हूं मैं भाई। आज उसने ये नहीं बोला. So those were small things, and now I see back, like look back and feel like how stupid of like thought process I had. But that's what I know at that time is the best way to get what I want. So yeah, we all learn. And but yeah, like even though I was, and that became my behavior. Like I wanted to say, like for a time I was pretending like okay, aaj to main gussa hu, like I'm angry, like I'm not gonna talk to him. So one day, 2 day, it became like few hours became days, and then like it became longer, and I started to stay angry for a very long time now. So that became pretty much my behavior, and that's where the problem started. So like fabricating is okay, but if which extent you are going is like look for it.
And suppose you will get induced. Suppose if your fabricated anger works in your favor. Suppose when you pretend to be angry and your kid listens to you, then every time you will use that fabricated anger, right? And then it will become your behavior, it will become your habit, and the emotions that you are exhibiting, though it may be false, but your body will show up the way Ansika is saying. So, anyways, you think that I will start laughing, something like that, but some part of it stays. Your body thinks that yes, you are getting angry, so it will so tell on your health also.
Wow. Let's read. एक बार मैं देख लेती हूँ इसमें कहाँ तक दिखाया है, so that I know where to. Okay, switch the page. People fabricate anger. You. Yesterday afternoon, I was reading a book in a coffee shop when a waiter passed by and spilled coffee on my jacket. I had just bought it and it's my nicest piece of clothing. I couldn't help it. I just blew my top. I yelled at him at the top of my lungs. I'm not normally the type of person who speaks loudly in public places. But yesterday, the shop was ringing with the sound of my shouting because I flew into a rage and forgot what I was doing. So, how about that? Is there any room for a goal to be involved here? No matter how you look at it, isn't this behavior that originates from a cause? Philosopher. So you were stimulated by the emotion of anger and ended up shouting. Though you are normally mild mannered, you could not resist being angry. It was an unavoidable occurrence and you could not do anything about it. Is that what you are saying? Youth says yes, because it happened so suddenly. The words just came out of my mouth before I had time to think. Philosopher. Then just suppose you happen to have had a knife on you yesterday, and when you blew up, you just got carried away and stabbed him. Would you still be able to justify that by saying it was just unavoidable occurrence and it couldn't do anything about it? I couldn't do anything about it. Youth, that come on, that's an extreme argument. Philosopher, it's not extreme argument if we if we proceed with your reasoning. Any offense committed in anger can be blamed on anger and will no longer be the responsibility of the person, because essentially you are saying that people cannot control their emotions. Well, how do you explain my anger then? Philosopher, that's easy. You did not fly into a rage and then start shouting. It is solely that you got angry so that you could shout. In other words, in order to fulfill the goal of shouting, can you hear the honking? No? Okay. In the other words, in order to fulfill the goal of shouting, you created the emotion of anger. Wow. Youth, what do you mean? Philosopher, the goal of shouting came before anything else. That is to say, by shouting, you wanted to make the waiter submit to you and listen to what you had to say. As a means to do that, you fabricated the emotion of anger. Youth, I fabricated it? You have got to be joking. Philosopher, then why did you raise your voice? Youth, as I said before, I blew my top. I was deeply frustrated. Philosopher, no, you could have explained matters without raising your voice, and the waiter would most likely have given you the sincere apology, wiped your jacket with a clean cloth, and taken an appropriate measures. He might have even arranged for it to be dry cleaned. And somewhere in your mind, you were anticipating that he might do these things, but even so, you shouted. The procedure of explaining things in normal words felt like too much trouble. And you tried to get out of that and make this unresisting person submit to you. The tool you used to do this was the emotion of anger. Youth, no way, you can't fool me. I manufactured anger in order to make him submit to me. I swear to you, there wasn't even a second to think of such a thing. I didn't think it over and then get angry. Anger is a more impulsive emotion. Philosopher. That's right. Anger is an instantaneous emotion. Now listen, I have a story. One day, a mother and daughter were quarreling loudly. Then suddenly, the telephone rang. Hello? The mother picked up the receiver hurriedly, her voice still thick with anger. The caller was her daughter's homeroom teacher. As soon as the mother realized who was phoning, the tone of her voice changed and she became very polite. Then, for the next 5 minutes or so, she carried on the conversation in her best telephone voice. Once she hung up on in a moment, her expression changed again and she went straight back to yelling at her daughter. How many of you have seen घर में लड़ाई हो रही है, बेल बज गई, कोई आ गया, हेलो हेलो, अच्छा कैसे हो, सब अच्छा अच्छा हो जाता है, एंड द मोमेंट दे गो यू आर लाइक मुझसे तो लड़ाई हुई, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग टू हिम. Youth. Well, that's not a particular unusual story. Philosopher. Don't you see? In a word, anger is a tool that can be taken out as needed. It can be put away the moment the phone rings and pulled out again after one hangs up. The mother isn't yelling in anger she cannot control. She is simply using the anger to overpower her daughter with a loud voice and thereby assert her opinions. Youth. So, anger is a means to achieve a goal. Philosopher. That is what teleology says. Youth. Ah, I see now. Under that gentle looking mask you wear, you are terribly nihilistic. Whether we are talking about anger or my recursive friend, all your insights are stuffed with feelings of distrust for human beings. Nihilistic क्या होता है? I don't know the meaning of it. Vikas, do you know the meaning of it?
Right.
Rejecting all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. All right.
Angry sort of thing होता है वो.
Huh?
Angry.
Whether you're talking about anger, okay. So, इसके अंदर क्या था?
So we think that when we are getting angry, actually we are having no control at that time,
Hmm.
right? But here this it talks about
We have a choice.
ego. Anger is the tool that we use to achieve the goal to raise our voice, shout at the other person so that I can tame him. So you cannot say that you are not having and blame the anger for you to become angry. Actually, this youth was not taking responsibility for his anger. He attributed to being angry as something automatic and even blamed the anger for being angry. But here is this philosopher who tells him, no, you became angry. There was purpose behind being angry. You wanted to tame the other person. That's why your whole purpose of getting angry was to raise your voice, to shout at the other person. So anger is a means to achieve the goal, and the goal is shouting.
Goal is
Shouting.
Yeah, maybe overpowering. Maybe
Yes. The goal is shouting, and by shouting, you are trying to control the other person.
हाँ, कि there are times when I feel that सामने वाला person is shouting just to make it clear that what I am saying is right and what you are thinking and saying is wrong.
Yes. So we are using the emotion of anger to achieve our goal of controlling others.
Let's hear Anshika.
Yeah, this I'm not resonating this part, me being like really snapping kind of person. So like for me when the part was there when you were reading about like goal of shouting, like the guy had that a person has a goal of shouting. In my head it was why, like why he will set a goal of shouting. So now as per discussion, like he wanted to prove his authority, or he wanted to prove his point that he is right and you are wrong, something of that sort. But still for me is not that clear, because like let me give the example. Like yesterday my daughter, I took her to play, like after school we played for more than 3 hours, and I was so tired after that. Like even she was tired, and she started, like when we were walking home, she started crying, I'm so tired, my leg is aching. And from that time onwards, like I started to have that, like little input of me heating up. And like I'm feeding her, like I gave her food and she's like, I'm tired, I cannot eat. Like doing homework, I'm tired, I cannot. Like every time she's crying and cribbing, and I'm like, why you played that much, like if you cannot you know and that was a build up. By the night I was very exhausted taking care of her. And yesterday we got a rebounder, like a small trampoline, and she played for more than 45 minutes on that also, and she was tired like crazy by the night, and now she's achy and everything. So anyway, the night went smooth. Today morning she said just one thing, like we were getting ready and she said like, I don't want to wear pink shoes, I want to wear other shoes. And I was like snapped on her. So now I'm trying to understand my purpose of shouting. Like I'm connecting this with my behavior. My purpose of shouting was what? Like why I yelled. It was build up. Like for me, my feeling is that it build up. Like yesterday I controlled myself, like she's doing too much, I was taking care. And now like in morning also this is continuing, like I'm tired, I cannot walk, and I don't want to go school. I said like, don't go school. And then she's saying now I don't want to wear pink shoes. So I said like, wear whatever you want, and she started crying and I yelled. So for me, that snapping moment was it because I chose to show my authority? What do you guys think on that? Like, so that's the reason I'm not able to resonate with what the author is saying.
Actually, let us look at it as another scenario. Suppose you had this build-up of anger inside, and ultimately you ended up shouting at her, right? What if your daughter still did not pay attention to what you, even when after you sorted it, she kept on repeating and exhibiting the same kind of behavior? You would have raised the voice. You would have raised the voice. You would have shouted her at even more decibels with more intensity, thinking that now she would listen to me. So basically, you are thinking in this moment, but it is a build up of not these recent events, but over the so much past events. Even during your childhood you might have seen your parents yelling at you. So at the subconscious level you have this programming that I have to raise my voice if a person does not listen to me. Now you are controlling that. You are not earlier raising the voice, you are suppressing it at that time, but the build up was there. It was building up, and ultimately you burst out. So programming was already there installed. If I do not shout, if I do not raise my voice, uh, my child will do anything he or she wants. And you learned it, that programming behavior from your parents in your childhood days, right?
While we were reading The Mountain Is You, there was this concept of controlling our emotions and suppressing our emotions. Suppressing your emotions gives you a build up.
Yes.
Controlling your emotion helps you channelize that emotion. Maybe when she did something wrong for the first time, if you would have spoken to her while she was going to bed, you might have went out with that छोटा सा जो आ रहा था, वो पाइल अप नहीं होता, बिकॉज ऑफ विच वो आज सुबह एकदम से ऐसे करके निकला. तो आई थिंक वही है कि I actually agree to it, क्योंकि now I realize there are times when I feel angry and I just choose, not my monkey, not my show, I'm not shouting at this.
सिंस
No, my
वो सबकॉन्शियस में इस तरह से डीपली इनग्रेन्ड है ना.
और हमारे को ये इनग्रेन्ड ये है कि जब तक पानी यहाँ
हाँ
तक नहीं होगा
हाँ
मैं नहीं चिल्लाऊंगी.
हाँ.
on that every person has a different, but my point of bringing this story was to say, like, have I fabricated the anger, or was it there, it just showed up? So that is my argument in my head is going on. Like, I didn't fabricate it. It was going on. I had programming for years. Like, as Vikas said, I saw my parents yelling at me, and I subconsciously maybe have picked up that, like, when you yell, things get done. And that's why I was yelling, like, so that she can put her shoes and like whatever. I don't know. I didn't thought that much of about, but maybe something on that line.
अगर हमारा ये
So,
बिलीफ है कि मैं चिल्लाऊंगी तभी ये काम होगा, it is
काम होगा. I agree. Yeah. This is the statement I say. You guys don't listen till I yell. So this is my favorite
So
dialogue to tell to my daughter and husband.
basically you are training your child to listen to you
only
only
when
Only
when.
when yell, yeah. But they don't listen. So, but no,
So
my
so what you
question
will
here
do,
is,
since you would still carry, if you carry the same belief that if I yell they will listen, then you will yell louder. Then even if they do not
that all
listen,
I agree.
then
That all I agree.
then
Yeah,
उनके
but the
बाद फिर.
question here is, am I fabricating the anger, or was it still there? It just showed up.
No, I think it is a fabricated anger because this is coming from a belief system that you already have in your head.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I change the belief, anger won't be there.
Yes.
That's what you're saying, right?
But it will take time because it is hard conditioning है,
Of
so it
course,
will take
wiring
time.
takes time to
By
change.
take
Yeah.
time. But again, you have to first be aware that it is coming from your belief that the work gets done when while I shout.
Mm.
There are times when the person in front of you is shouting. You choose not to shout, and at last you start shouting as well. कि अभी ये बहुत हो गया, shut up.
And
Mm.
And then there are times.
let me share with one more perspective. Give you one more perspective. Suppose had it not been your child, had it been someone else's child, he would have been, suppose he or she would have been doing this, repeating exhibiting the same kind of behavior. Would you have shouted?
Mm.
Would you have yelled?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I snap very frequently.
So
At others
because
also. But yeah, again, maybe not on strangers. But yeah, my friends' kid,
so
they get
why?
yelling all the time.
So
So why I don't yell at strangers?
any person which you think you can control, you will get them.
Yeah, strangers definitely
Yes.
not, I think.
So the
So
factor is
it's a
you are trying to
fabricated.
control. Yes.
I know to control. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, and like when you were telling, there is a very good realization happened with people who I'm yelling. There is a consequences connected. Like for here, I didn't wanted her to get late, so that was the consequence. That's why in my head it was something like that. So with strangers, I don't have that consequence. Like what if they get late?
Yes.
Not my problem. So yeah, interesting insights.
Or maybe जो कह रहे हैं कि my goal is that my daughter does not get late to the school, and that is why you started yelling at her कि भाई जो पहले पहन खत्म कर पहन और निकल.
Whatever like I didn't analyze that, but I just wanted to understand like how it is fabrication. Like if you are saying it's a fabrication, how its anger is fabricated. And like yeah, this discussion gave me a lot of clarity about it. So yeah, thank you.
आगे पढ़ना है.
Bilkul.
How to live without being controlled by the past.
Page change, please. Yeah.
So, how to live without being controlled by the past.
Can I take leave of you both, please?
हाँ.
मैं एग्जिट कर सकता हूँ अभी, मेरे को फिर सुबह उठना होगा ना.
रुक जाओ 5 मिनट 10
चलिए
मिनट
ठीक.
खत्म
ओके
हो जाएगा यार.
ओके.
It's just 2 pages.
Okay.
Just 2 pages. Philosopher. I am being nihilistic. Youth. Think about it. Simply put, you deny human emotions. You say that emotions are nothing more than tools, that they are just the means to achieve goals. But listen, if you deny emotions, you're upholding a view that tries to deny our humanity too, because it's our emotions and the fact that we are swayed by all sort of feelings that make us human. If emotions are denied, humans will be nothing more than poor excuses of machines. If that isn't nihilism, then what is it?
So
Philosophy.
nihilism is basically denial of emotions. It means you do not expect humans to have any emotions. That is nihilism.
Philosopher says, I'm not denying that emotions exist. Everyone has emotions. That goes without saying. But if you are going to tell me that people are beings who can't resist emotions, I would argue against that. Adlerian psychology is a form of thought, a philosophy that is diametrically opposed to nihilism. We are not controlled by emotions. In this sense, while it shows that people are not controlled by emotions, additionally, it shows that we are not controlled by the past. Youth. So, people are not controlled either by emotions or the past. Philosopher. Okay, for example, suppose there is someone whose parents had divorced in their past. Isn't this something objective? The same as the well water that is always 18 degree? कुएं के पानी की बात हुई थी in the beginning, if you remember. But then, does the divorce feel cold or does it feel warm? So, this is a now thing, a subjective thing. Regardless of what may have happened in the past, it is the meaning that is attributed to it that determines the way someone's presence will be. Youth. The question isn't what happened, but how was it resolved? Philosopher. Exactly. We can't go back to the past in the time machine. We can't turn back the hands of time. If you end up staying in anthology, you will be bound by the past and never be able to find happiness. Youth. That's right. We can't change the past, and that's precisely why life is so hard. Philosopher. Life isn't just hard. If the past determined everything and could not be changed, we who are living today would no longer be able to take effective steps towards our lives. What would happen as a result? We would end up with the kind of nihilism and pessimism that loses hope in the world and gives up on life. The Freudian etiology that is typified by the trauma argument is determinism in a different form and is the road to nihilism. Are you going to accept values like that? Youth. I don't want to accept them, but the past is so powerful. Philosopher. Think of the possibilities. If one assumes that people are beings who can change, a set of values based on etiology becomes untenable, and one is compelled to take the position of teleology as a matter of course. Youth. So you are saying that one should always take the people can change premise? Philosopher. Of course. And please understand, in the Freudian etiology that denies our free will and treats human like machines. The young man paused and glanced around the philosopher's study. Floor to ceiling, bookshelves filled the walls, and on the small wooden desk lay a fountain pen and what appeared to be a partially written manuscript. People are not driven by past causes, but move towards goals that they themselves set. People are not driven by the past causes, but move towards goals that they themselves set. That was the philosopher's claim. The teleology he espoused was an idea that overturned at the root of casualty of respectable psychology, and the young man found that impossible to accept. So, from which standpoint should we start to argue it? The youth took a deep breath. All right. What do you have?
So the youth talks about that our present and future is controlled by our past,
Yes.
and emotions control us, right? And this philosopher advocates that had it been so, then would not have changed. We are changing. We have the power to over our emotions also, and we have the power of our how we can use our willpower in the present also to change our life.
Hmm.
So basically, yes, pasts do have an impact, but does not in any way mean that we cannot let go of the past. We cannot move towards our goal to make a better towards a better future. That's the power. That's the power human being has.
Yes.
That he can have control over his emotions, and also he can move towards his goal by letting go of the past and not letting the emotions override him.
Anshika, let's hear it from you.
Yeah, for me also, like when Vikas was talking about meaning making, what I understood from this is like the past is what happened is happened. Now that the meaning making is happening in our head, that is giving all the emotions, and that's the reason we are behaving or we are holding on to, because it's in some way it's serving us, like it's getting our goal done or whatever way. So that's what my take on that.
हाँ, मुझको भी यही है कि past has an impact, but past does not have to decide our future, and that is what self-development is all about. We are changing our stories that we have been telling ourselves in so many years, and that is what we are doing right here, right? कि हर चीज को बिलीफ कैसे ब्रेक करना है, मुझको अपना लिमिटिंग बिलीफ कैसे करना है, हमारा डाउट्स एंड फियर्स को कैसे ओवरकम करना है. दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग बाय ऑल्दो ये कंसेप्ट नहीं पता था, बट वी आर नेचुरली डूइंग इट नाउ. यस. All right, that was insightful. Thank you, Vikas and Anshika, for joining in tonight. And I really would appreciate your support throughout this book because it is a deep book and your insights will be valuable. And God bless you. Good night. And Anshika, you have a
Do
wonderful
you have soft copy of that book? This book,
soft
not
copy.
distort soft copy PDF wala.
PDF. I'll find another PDF and check, and I'll again put it
Mhm.
out and I'll share it with you as well. Okay, bye bye. Good night.